What can we say? Stranger Things was a bit of a global phenomena when it came out. Each subsequent season that's come out has seen more numbers. And of course, we're about to see a repeat of that here later this year. Today, however, we have seen some new information that's come out regarding a really cool new box set that marries Stranger Things with Dungeons and Dragons. Again, of course, Stranger Things can be thanked for making a resurgence of the popularity of Dungeons and Dragons. But today it has been announced that there is a new box set that will continue the adventures of the Hellfire Club. And if I can figure out basic technology, here we go. Welcome to the Hellfire Club. So what this is, if you check out D&D Beyond, we have Stranger Things box set. It's $50. What all you get? All kinds of fun goodies. The basics of it first, though. Hellfire Club started as a haven for outsiders, free spirits, and dice slingers. But founder Eddie's final campaign was left unfinished until now. Might be a few spoilers in today's video. And by the way, GameMasters here. Keep the flames of Hellfire burning within this collaborative 3 to 5 player board game featuring Eddie's lost adventures. With 4 adventures and hours of play possibilities, Stranger Things Welcome to the Hellfire Club invites you to gather the gang and choose how the story ends. You can also purchase the Ultimate Pack digital, which the Ultimate would be both the physical and the digital, $60, or just the digital for $20. Me, I like physical personally. What all is in it? Well, before we scroll down, let's take a look at some of the promo pictures here. This looks like to be an overshot of the actual box set. These are going to be some pre-made characters. Dice, everybody loves dice. And it kind of has an old school feel with those crystal dice. Not quite old school where you had to fill in the pips with crayon or anything, or the numbers with crayon. But yeah, these will suffice. These are pretty old school as well. Looks like you have some spell cards. Invisibility level 2. Another overshot or overview of the product. And you can see back here it's actual Dungeons and Dragons, not Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, but Dungeons and Dragons shots of the adventures, the covers of those adventures. And, this is one big complaint. I've already hit the magnify button and I cannot read it. So I'm going to do my dirty little trick, open a new tab and see if we can. There we go. Now I can read it because my eyes are crap. But anyway, back of the box says, let's see, pretty much what we just read. Experience Eddie Munson's lost Dungeons & Dragons adventures. One player takes on the mantle of Hellfire Club leader and dungeon master, while the others play characters like Erica Sinclair's backstabbing rogue, Lady Applejack, or Dustin Henderson's battle-loving cleric, Nog the Dwarf. Embark on cooperative adventures inspired by Stranger Things and earn your place in the Hellfire Club. And it looks like we have this really wicked cool DM screen. This panel relives Stranger Things, travel back in time to the spring of 1986 with immersive components like Hellfire Club members ready to play character sheets, collectible cards, and double-sided posters. Or a double-sided poster. Let's see, you're going to battle vile monsters from demo dogs to devils, delve into the Vale of Shadows, and solve dockside murders across 4 adventures. Every adventure has many potential possibilities and outcomes. Let's see, for all fans, this game is a blast for all skill levels. Everything you need to play is included. And then down here, just basic copyright stuff. So it doesn't give hint that this is actual role play stuff, but let's jump back and keep looking at, we get some neat artwork. Okay. All right. Okay. So what all is included? It's for D&D 5th edition. You get 4 adventures. You get 4 maps. For levels 1 to 3, 30 monsters, 36 spells, and 20 magic items. So finish the campaign by the power of Hellfire. Together with your crew, take on challenges hotter than Hellfire, from gnarly battles with demogorgons and demodogs, eerie dockside murders, and the treacherous Veil of Shadows. Okay. So what's included with the board game? And it's odd that they're calling it a board game. It was my understanding that this was going to be kind of that you were going to play it more like Dungeons and Dragons. But perhaps what this is just an all-inclusive game. Well, like I said, everything that you need to play is right there. So it'll be maybe a self-contained adventure or a self-contained game. You're going to have the Dungeon Master screen, double-sided Hellfire Club poster, 91 cards for spells, magic items, monsters, 72 tokens for player characters and monsters, 2 double-sided poster maps, 15 character sheets, 4 in-world handouts, combat tracker notepad, set of 11 dice, and a quick start guide of 4 adventure booklets and 1 play guide booklet. And if you did go with the digital bundle alongside the physical, the ultimate, you also get digital adventure pack, which includes 5 digital pre-made characters for levels 1 to 3 and 4 quick play maps preloaded with monsters and tokens for easy setup, digital dice, and digital map and sticker pack. Let's see, additional assets here that they are showing. You got Eddie, Friends Don't Lie, especially not in this collaborative experience. Storytelling, schmack in action, and dice rolling fun. Roleplay like it's the 80s. Break out your parachute pants. Go back to the spring of 86 with Stranger Thing faves like Erica Sinclair's Backstab. Well, we already read that. For all skill levels. Totally tubular. This must be one of the digital maps that you get rolling fast. Yeah, quick play maps. It looks like, okay. And I like the artwork that's included in this. I'll be curious to see if there are like actual art cards. Comments. Is this a board game or TTRPG? Rivers asks. Well, I'm honestly a touch confused too. Like I said, it's being advertised as a board game. And I'm going to show you guys a little bit larger product shot just to confirm that. But it was my understanding that this is supposed to be more like a role-playing game, but not something that you would have to tether over to the hardback book, like the 5th edition material. Although, I mean, I don't see why you couldn't convert it, but we'll have to actually see. Mr. Welsh asks, please tell me this includes rules for Joyce. She's the only reason we really watch the show anyways. That I do not know. I do not know. This looks like the cover of the DM's guide or DM's screen. Really curious to see what's on the other side of it. And product specifications. Release date is October 7th, so I will tell you all that. Again, you can pre-order it here on D&D Beyond, or you can, I want to take a look to, this is where we're going to see some additional product shots. This is over on Amazon. And I have also, if you're interested in supporting the channel, I do have a link to this down in the description, but I would highly recommend, if this is something that you want, pre-order it from your local bookstore. Give them some support. They are the ones that have the super high overhead. They need to keep lights on. They need to keep their employees fed. So be a patron of them first. And if you just want to order it because, you like me and I'm charismatic enough, that's fine too. Let's see. Most of the description of what we've read here we've already read, but it basically says that it's a collaborative a collaborative 3 to 5 player game. You are going to take on challenges from 4 of Eddie's Lost Adventures, and I'll show you some additional cover art of that. Let's see, you've got the DM screen. There's an entire 9 Hells of 80 themed flavor to explore with an exclamation point. Grab your snacks, invite your buddies, and gather around the table to get rockin' and rollin' on psychedelic adventures. Does that mean we should bring shrooms? Not sure. For all skill levels, whether you're a seasoned adventurer or completely new to role-playing, everyone is welcome at Hellfire Club. Everything you need to play is in this box, including a handy quick start guide and play guide. So, based on that sentence alone, I'm going to have to guess, Rivers, you were asking if it was a board game or a tabletop role-playing game. Based on this, I'm going to have to say that this is probably both. And while we're looking at that, I want to go ahead and show you, what was the product shot? Was it, oh, I think it was over here. There was, they really made it look like a board game setup. Yeah, well, no, that's not it. Apologies. Where did I see that at? It's not that. Well, actually, I'm sorry, that is it. So it makes the maps look like the board game itself, right? Like a board. You have your little tokens. These are your character tokens. These would be your character sheets. The cards, your dice. Almost like, chance and community chest cards, but, of course, it's spells and items. You got your little notepad to keep track of stuff. But what I want to look at, what I want to show everybody is some close-up features of, see if we can, again, I'm going to do my little, I can't do that trick. Here we go. Open a new tab. There. So we can see, if you look right here, of course, you've got your character art. You've got, and it looks like a standard character sheet from, not quite like it looked like back in the 80s, but kind of close. But you've got a spot for your name, your character's name, and that information, armor class, hit points. I can very clearly make out hit points there. Feats, skills, your strength, intelligence, dexterity, saving throws, additional information, and that's about all I can really make out. So it while it's it's very clear 5th edition, but it has that trade dress of the old D&D games. In this, we can also see, of course, another clear shot or a fuzzy shot of the dice, but you can also see the character art. The character, miniatures, I guess, little cardboard miniatures. Let's see, what else can we really examine here? Okay, so if we do, and there's a better shot of this. So these four, this greenish, this orange, this kind of yellowy orange, and this purple. These are going to be the 4 adventures. You've got the Vanishing Gnome, what looks to be the Scream of the Crop. What is this? Devil Metal Die? I can't make out whatever that is. And then Ballad of the Rat King. Now, bonus points. I'd be very curious to know, does anybody remember, and I'm going to give y'all bonus points if you do. Does anybody remember the name of the adventure that they were playing when they all went up against Vecna in Eddie's game? Bonus points if you can comment that in the comments there. Additional material. We looked at this one. Again, I want to get a little bit of a bigger look of it. And I don't think we can get a bigger sneak peek there, but looks like we have invisibility. It's a level 2 spell. Kind of a neat little icon there. It says range is touch, target 1. You or a creature you touch becomes invisible, and it's clearly marked as a spell. I mean, that's kind of cool. I'd like to see the backside of that card just to see if it shows any additional information. But this is kind of reminiscent of the other core box set that is going to be coming out in September. In the fact that they have spell cards, and so I kind of like the concept of spell cards. Um, somewhere somewhere in my room, I have spell cards from the AD&D days, the spell, the wizard spell deck, the cleric spell deck, that kind of stuff. Um, these kind of remind me a bit of that. Let's see, what else is there? Okay, so here is another shot. Again, we've got some monster tokens, additional cards down here. This is looks like a handout, missing reward. Looks like two other handouts. And we can kind of see the map back here in the background for Dungeon of Shadows, and then Scream of the Crop, adventure book. There's another shot that's really, really cool that shows, yeah, here we go. Okay, so check this out. This it screams, old school modules to me. Let's see, Seraphis. Hold on a second. Hold on, Seraphis. I'll get there. Vecna's Return. Is that what it was called? Vecna Live? Oh, they were playing Vecna Lives, weren't they? Yeah, that's right. They were. So that's the big question I have is, do you think that we'll see Vecna in any of these? Because that was, as I understood it, it was Eddie's homebrew game that they were playing. But yeah, you're right. It was Vecna Lives. Sorry, my speech is going dyslexic on me. Okay, so Seraphis asks, so is this going to be like those D&D board games they did during 5e? I don't think so. I mean, it's being marketed as a board game, but it looks to me that it's more closer to kind of I don't know, more like a version of the role-playing game. So like maybe it's, how should I put this? I can't say this without making it sound derogatory, and I don't intend for it to sound derogatory in any way. It almost strikes me as being Dungeons and Dragons with training wheels on. I mean, like it's going to contain everything that you need, like, so you don't have to have the player's handbook or the Dungeon Master's Guide or the Monster Manual in order to play this. Everything is all self-contained. But unlike the starter set that we're going to get in September, which will lead you to the tabletop role-playing game, I think this is themed specifically for Stranger Things. So everything that you need is just going to be self-contained to this box set. But I love the cover art. Again, it's very, very throwback to old school D&D and start in terms of style. This shows the adamantine armor, and we do get a shot of the back of it. And let's see if I can actually read this. While wearing this armor, you have an armor class on the other side. You have the armor class on the other side of this card, which looks like it's 14 plus your dex. You must subtract your dexterity modifier if it's in the negative. This suit of armor is reinforced with adamantium, one of the hardest substances in existence. While you're wearing it, any critical hits against you become a normal hit. That's cool. And you are correct, D.D. O'Brien. They are calling the new starter set a board game as well, and it's I don't know. It's a little bit of a misnomer, I think, because I don't see it as when I hear board game, I think, Monopoly. I think the game, Sorry, I think Shoots and Ladders, Candyland. To me, those are board games. This is it's got to be a marketing term that that Hasbro's decided. Maybe the world doesn't recognize the term role playing games anymore, or tabletop role playing games. So we're just going to call it a board game. That's all I can assume, because by all rights, to me, this looks like an extension of, or well, like I said, it looks like the role playing. It looks like Dungeons and Dragons with training wheels on. Not to say that again. I'm not trying to denote anything derogatory about it. I'm just simply saying that it's. I think it's going to be a very basic version of D&D. I'm interested in it because, hey, I am a fan of Stranger Things, and I'd like to see what all material or what all stuff we get out of this. Jay Scott, definitely think this is a new edition of D&D to make it simpler and inviting. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna have to agree with you on there. I don't have issue with it. Hey, if it helps bring more people into the game, I'm all for it. I think the only thing that I would have a concern is that if folks jump into this and eventually merge over into the tabletop version of the book or of the game, that they get a little like, whoa, wait, this is not what I thought it was. That'd be the only concern that I'd have, but Seraphis. If it's a true throwback, I expect the return of the reverse tag on spells. 100%. I agree with you. Harm, and which was the opposite of, hey, bonus points if anybody can tell me what harm was the opposite of, or the reverse of, I should say. And bonus information, the original spell that harm is the reverse of was a necromantic spell. Scott, again, they are calling these board games to help new people who very much think that is what yes, I agree with you there too. I don't think you can really explain D&D to anyone. They have to see it first. Yep, I would agree with you too. And I think it is specifically that. It is it's a marketing term, and again, I have no issues with that. So we have the cover, Scream of the Crop, I guess is a play on Cream of the Crop. We have evidently a scarecrow monster. And again, I love the trade dress here. It's you've got your monocolors on the front, and you've got this. It just screams to me again. The old 1990s trading cards. It just has that look and feel to it. Scarecrow, of course, it's all 5th edition information. Scarecrow's AC 11, 27 hit points, goes on initiative, or has an initiative +3, strength, dex, con, wisdom, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, vulnerable to fire. Oh, who would have guessed scarecrows would be vulnerable to fire? Immunities to poison, charmed, exhaustion, frightened, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, and unconscious. Dark vision out to 60 feet. And it knows common plus other languages. And then, of course, you've got your monster tokens. Let's see. Malachi. Maybe they are marketing as a board game to get it into more stores. That's a possibility too. Because if you think about, it's my understanding that this is going to be in. I'm pretty sure it's going to be in a Target, and it's going to be in Walmart as well, if I'm remembering my information correctly. I can tell you that my local Walmart used to carry 5th edition books. I have not seen any in there since. Oh, when was it that Hasbro or WotC announced that they were severing ties with that one distribution book distributor? That was almost a year ago, maybe. Anyway, that's at about the time that they stopped carrying the D&D books themselves. They still carry the Hasbro, brands. They still carry the Chutes and Ladder or the Monopolies and that kind of thing. I would be curious too to see. Here's what I want to see: the backside of this. So what I don't see on this, I see the D&D logo, I see the Wizards of the Coast logo, Netflix Stranger Things logo, 21 laps, upside down. But what I'm not seeing is the Hasbro logo. And let's take a look at what am I trying to do here? I want to go to Amazon Prime. I want to go to Monopoly and check out. Let's see. Here's the back. Yeah. So this is what I wanted to take a look at, right? So on the back of this, we clearly have the Hasbro logo. We have Hasbro Gaming owns the patent for the game. It's interesting that we don't see the Hasbro logo on the back of this. So, and I'll tell you why I specifically wanted to look that up. And Malachi, you're correct. Heel. That's exactly where it was. Heel. Rivers also got it. Yep. So y'all get bonus points. But okay, so Seraphis points out that it must be a U.S. thing because Target AU Australia doesn't stock any D&D stuff. So, and that kind of ties in a little bit to why I was curious if the Hasbro logo was on the back of this box. If it was, that would tell me that your big box retail stores like your Walmarts, your Targets, etc., would likely carry this board game in the board game section of their toy aisle. But because they don't have that logo on there, in fact, I mean, I'm looking here and I don't see, it just says Dungeons & Dragons, D&D, Wizards of the Coast, Dragons Ampersand, and all other Wizards of the Coast product names and their respective logos are trademark of Wizards of the Coast in the USA and other countries. And then it goes into the Stranger Things logos and the French, which is another odd one. Why it's in French? That's crazy. Represented by Hasbro. Okay, so right there we have the only mention of Hasbro is right there. What about the front cover? Front cover doesn't show the Hasbro logo. So I don't know. That's a weird one. I'm a little surprised that Hasbro's logo is not on here. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that these are, I guess, promotional images. So the final, imagery may be a little bit different. So by the time this hits stores, that might have, they may have the logo on there somewhere. That, I mean, could be. I don't know. But yeah, I would say if the logo was on there, I'd say for sure we'd probably see it in the board game aisle of the toy aisle in your big box store. I would assume that your local game stores would be able to order this, if they have a Wizards account, or not a Wizards account, but if they have a through their distributor. It's just my guess there, though. The artwork reminds you of the big, yeah, it kind of does. It kind of does. I'll tell you this. I mean, I think the artwork looks really, really cool. I mean, that's, I like, I mean, it is a very 80s style artwork, no question. I mean, the logo, that's very 5th edition for sure. But, the rest of it, that's very 80s style, which is cool. Joseph Quinn. Ah, there you go. Okay. Yeah, it's French so to be sold. Yeah. That makes sense. I get it. I wasn't thinking about that. Joseph Quinn played the DM Eddie Munson, but his career has absolutely blown up. Fantastic Four, Gladiator 2, Quiet Day 3, Warfare more. You know, I think that is a very good observation as well. Um, it wouldn't surprise me, yeah, if people just went out, that were fans of him, of the actor, and got it just for that. But I mean, me personally, I just like to have it because one, I'm a fan of the show of Stranger Things, and I'm also a fan of Dungeons and Dragons, and I don't know, I think it'd be fun. And not to mention, if this is a watered down version of Dungeons and Dragons, and all I need is this, and I can crack this open and play with, how is it described? It says, let's see, everything you need. Okay, that's not what we wanted. Was it? Was there anything else further down? Oh, this was the one. This was the image I was looking for. Yeah, this is the one that makes it look like it's a board game right here. Of course, there's no reviews on it yet, but let's see. Maybe it was here. Where was it that we saw? It mentioned that one person takes on the role of the dungeon master, and then I guess you've got four additional players. So I mean, that's enough for me and my friends to sit down, me and my son and his friends to sit down and just play using the contents directly out of this box without having to break open all the books, or I can just throw everything in the box and go. I like the portability of it. That said, I'm curious to know exactly what the difference is between this version of the game and the Dungeons and Dragons starter set that we're getting in September. This one, and I've already done an overview look of this particular game, or box set, I should say. But I'd be very curious to know, like from a playing standpoint, what the key differences are. Um, as I sit here, my understanding is again that this one will lead you into the tabletop books. The Dungeon Master's Guide, the Player's Handbook, the Monster Manual. Whereas this, not this, we can close that out now because we're done talking Monopoly. Whereas this one will likely just be a self-contained to this particular box. I think it would be a missed opportunity if they didn't have some connection to the Dungeon Master's Guide, the Player's Handbook, and the Monster Manual. But hey, I'm not in charge of their marketing, and I've not seen anything in here that indicates that there's a connection other than just the title itself. But anyway, that's what we have, and I think it's going to be a pretty nifty box. But what say you? This is some of the. I'm going to take a look at some of the digital artwork. And I mean, it's cool. To me, this is less. Oh, there is Vecna here. That's definitely Vecna. One interesting thing of note, that is Vecna as depicted in 5th edition. Hmm. That's interesting. I think the only thing that's missing from this box set, well, I'll mention that in a second. So you've also got some additional. Look at the tools that they're playing with. Some notebooks, post-it notes. pencils, fun stuff. That takes me back. Got the Demigorgon, your wizard. And that's a kind of a neat looking piece of art. Anyway, I think the only thing that would make this box set better is if where's the big there? Is if I don't know if there was a one size fits all T-shirt of Hellfire Club. Oh well, can't have everything, you know. But I think I am going to have to go out and try to find me a Hellfire Club shirt. I recently did an interview with I want to tease this as best I can. Where are we? So I recently did an interview with a designer for Dragon Delves, and with Anthony Joyce Rivera, and he was wearing the Dragon Delves. Man, my brain is just not wanting to work. I smell food. Food's cooking. I can smell the lasagna. So my brain's like, I gotta go eat. I'm hungry. That's where my mind is right now. But anyway, he was wearing the Hellfire Club shirt in that interview, and that's kind of struck me as I kind of want one now. It looked pretty cool. Anyway, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for me. I just want to jump on and show everybody this neat new Hellfire Club. Welcome to the Hellfire Club D&D box set. Again, you can get it on either the D&D Beyond or you can get it on Amazon. I've got a link down in my description as to where you can get it if you want to support the channel. But again, as I said, I would recommend that you support your local game store. If they can get it, pre-order it from them. And as always, if anybody has any questions, feel free to list them down in the comments after the video is over. And as we get closer to this, I know that I'm already getting it, but as we get closer to it, and I have the physical copy, I'm going to rip it open. We're going to explore it in depth and detail. So lasagna. Yes, sir. Lasagna. Good stuff. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. And until next our paths cross, may you, this is an obvious one. Until next our paths cross, may you not get stuck. Say it with me. May you not get stuck in the upside down.